Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another podcast mini. It has been a minute since I have hopped on, and I must explain to you the beautiful thing called vacation. Yes, I've been on a little break, and it has been wonderful. It has been awesome, but I am happy to announce that not only am I back, but I think the whole crew is back. You're going to start getting podcast minis once again into your podcast feed, wherever you listen to your podcast, and then you're going to be getting the main podcast once again real soon with me and Pastor Aaron and sometimes different guests that goes out not just on all the podcast forms but on YouTube as well. And so just super excited, really, for the next season of the podcast that we're stepping into. And I wanted to chat with you today on this podcast mini about something that I have learned from some of the greatest organizations in the world. There is something that I've learned. I spend a lot of my time trying to learn and grow and become better. And one of the areas of life that I feel like I tend to gravitate towards to learn from is actually the sports world. I love to listen to podcasts from some of the world's greatest athletes where they're being interviewed and they talk about their daily routines. And as you listen to them, you learn why they were such a winner and you realize why they were so great. I listen to coaches. I love listening to coaches being interviewed, uh, world champion coaches being interviewed, rules of the team, culture of teams, daily expectations from players. It says so much about a winning organization, a winning culture, a disciplined lifestyle. And the truth about some of these athletes, some of these coaches, some of these teams and organizations that are very successful is they have a lot of stuff in common. And a lot of the stuff that they do translates extremely well into my life, my work life, my family life, and the church. And I want to share with you very small little insights I picked up on listening to an interview with a coach. And they were asking this coach just simple questions about expectations that he has for players. And he says, there are only two things I expect out of my players. And I was like, whoa, two? I mean, this is an organization that is very successful. They win all the time. He only has two rules for his players. You would think that this coach would have 20 rules to being a great player. No, he's got two expectations that he has. And this piqued my interest right away. He says, when you show up to training camp, you have to be in shape. So when he says that, there's so much work to do to get there. You've got to be physically ready. And it can take some of these players months of dieting and training to be ready when they show up to training camp on day one. So that's his first rule: show up to training camp in shape. Second rule, be on time to meetings. Now you might be thinking to yourself, wow, that's easy. But let me put it to you this way: anybody out there who has ever been a part of an organization for an extended period of time knows it is extremely difficult to consistently and constantly show up to meetings on time. Malaise sets in, laziness sets in. I would say even things like, what's the word for it, when somebody just kind of begins to think that they are like so awesome and so good that they don't really need to show up on time anymore because they have garnished so much favor with their boss that they can be 5 minutes late. It's no big deal. I forget what that's called, But a lot of people get that attitude and that spirit about them, especially when they've been with an organization for a long time, and especially if they've been successful. They just say, "Hey, I've garnered up a lot of favor. I can be 5 minutes late. I can be 10 minutes late to this meeting." And this coach was saying, "No, you are on time to this meeting." And he says that he expects that of himself too. I thought that was powerful. He expects himself to be on time for meetings. Now, if you've got your leader saying he expects this of himself, that he is going to be on time for meetings, that means as a player, you better be on time for a meeting because he is watching and looking for people who are showing up late. And if you're showing up late, you're in trouble. So you're going to show up, right? So he's creating this cultural expectation that we respect one another so much that we value time, your time. I value your time, you value my time. And if there's a valuing of time going back and forth between coaches and players, there's a lot of respect and you can get a lot done as an organization. You can really move forward and win a lot of games. And I just thought to myself, that's kind of like, that's amazing to say that these are my only two rules. But in fact, those two rules, if followed well, means that as a player and a coach, I've got to be very disciplined and very focused. And if you're very disciplined and very focused, chances are you're going to be very successful. Now, why do I bring all this up to you? It's because so many organizations and so many people will skip out on some of the small details of their life and they think certain things don't matter. But all those little things that you deem that don't matter, what happens is they'll add up to unsuccess or non-success or whatever you want to call it, failure. It really, really does. That some of the greatest, most successful athletes and organizations and sports teams in the world do all the little things really well consistently. And I would say to you out there that that is a simple rule you could follow too. You can just follow that rule that I am going to show up every day ready to work hard and I'm going to be on time and at the right place every day. And I guarantee you that if you do those things, if you apply those rules to your relationships, to your job, to your walk with the Lord, to how you serve at church, to reading your Bible and praying, to dealing with your family, to every little hobby you do, anything you do, you will find yourself not just successful, but I would even dare say very successful. Honestly, the consistency will create success. And I'll never forget, too, hearing a quick story of Tom Brady. Tom Brady ended up being drafted in the sixth round by the New England Patriots, and he was a long shot to even make the team, honestly. I think in training camp, he was like third and fourth string quarterback, and most teams do not carry four quarterbacks, let alone some teams don't carry three. So like he was a long shot to make the team, and it just turned out that he was started doing well in training camp and did pretty well, and so they decided to keep him. And after a couple weeks, the starting quarterback got hurt, and so he was forced into the starting role, and he did pretty well. And he did so well that the other quarterback never got his job back. He never played quarterback for the New England Patriots ever again. Tom Brady was so good that the other guy never got his starting position back ever again. And Tom Brady remembers when the announcement was made that the quarterback was going to come back to the team because he was finally healed from his injury. And Tom Brady said something that I'll never forget. He said, "I'm going to work so hard that this guy will never get his job back that I am taking his job and I'm going to outwork him." And I thought that seems pretty ruthless, but at the same time, That's inspiring. That's pretty awesome. That he's going to work so hard. He's going to he's going to do so good. He's going to do all the little things so well consistently that this guy's never going to get his job back. That Tom Brady will always be the starting quarterback from here on out. And that's exactly what happened. That his hard work paid off. That other guy never got his position back. He never was the quarterback for the New England Patriots ever again. So what does it take to be a success? It doesn't take 100 things. It just takes a couple things done really well consistently over a long period of time. Maybe what are those few things that you feel like you need to do? And maybe it is just the simple things I mentioned at the beginning. Come ready to go, be in shape, whatever that means for you. Just show up to work ready to go and always be on time. Those two things might very well put you in a position to thrive in your walk with the Lord, to thrive as you serve at church, to thrive in your job, to thrive in your hobbies, to thrive in your relationships. Just might be what it takes. Anyway, it's been great to be with you today, Podience. This has been my first podcast mini in a while, but I'm glad to be back. And vacation was great, and the break was great, but it's good to be back. Anyway, keep your eyes open for the next big podcast that Pastor Aaron and I will drop. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.